Welcome back, Naughty Knitters. If you're new here, I'm Tanya, also known as A Naughty Knitter 2 on both Instagram and Ravelry, coming to you from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It's a cute little mountain lake town nestled up in the Pacific Northwest, where I live with Mr. Knot and our 3 French bulldogs. And you, my friends, have found episode 48 of the French Knot, my little corner of the internet where we love to talk about all the knitty, yarny, fibery topics. Today, I have a relatively traditional podcast for you, coming fresh off the heels of a beautiful flock event. I had so much fun, and if you were able to watch my flock video, I appreciate your support so much. I just have to tell you, it was such a joy and a pleasure to meet those of you that I got to meet. It was so much fun. Anyway, today we're going to talk about finished objects. I have some whips. It's a jam-packed episode. So if that sounds like just your cup of tea, grab a cup of coffee or a cozy beverage, grab your knitting project, snuggle up with your favorite fur friend, and let's dive in. Before we get started with the official episode, I want to make just a little bit of housekeeping. Don't forget, September 11th is the 1-year anniversary of the French Knot, and we are going to have an Ask Me Anything episode. So be sure to leave your questions in the comments, in the Discord group, on Instagram, somewhere where I can see them so that I can answer all your burning questions, because I know there's so many. First question I'm sure that you're asking is, what are you wearing? Well, I will tell you what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my finished object, the Sabai top by Suzanne Muller. I knit her up in a 50% silk merino blend. It is so lovely, you guys. I mean, look at the drape on this. It is fantastic. And let me scoot this back a little bit so that you can appreciate the full effect. I'm going to squat down a little bit so you can see it, but isn't that nice? Oh. So I finished her during flock, and so I was actually able to wear her on Sunday. And it was a perfect top for flock because it was hot in there. She was knit up on a US 2, I knit her up in a size 2 on a US 6. And this yarn that I used, it's threads. I got it on Etsy, that 50% silk, 50% merino blend. I got it on Etsy, and it was in their copper coins colorway, I believe. And it is really cool. So if you look, you start with this, how would you describe it? So you start with this ribbing in the round, and then you have these really rapid increases right here at the shoulder seam, and then it's kind of like a raglan increase right here, and then you put the front on hold and you knit the back down to here, doing some shoulder shaping right here. And then when you get down to there, you put that on hold, and let me move my microphone a little bit. And then you pick up the front and do the same. This microphone is really affecting how it looks. So I'm going to hold this for a minute so that you can see how lovely it sits. I just love this. It's going to get so much use. And I'm so glad that I picked this. I don't know if you can tell, but look at how nice this is right here, this finishing. And so when you're done, there's no ribbing to do. There's no casting on stitches, nothing. You just bind off and go. It is a lovely, fast knit. Highly recommended. Highly recommended. What can I say other than it was fast? I had 0 issues with the pattern. Very, very well written. There's 2 versions that come with the pattern. There's version 1 and version 2. Version 1 has ribbing at the neckline, and then has some ribbing on the side right here. So that's the version that I chose. Version 2 is just rolled stock. It's just stockinette, and so it just rolls a little bit at the front. And so I wanted this version, and I'm glad that I did it. I am tempted though to do the other version. It knit up so fast that I'm like, gosh, I could do another one. I spent and it was mindless. Once you got past these increases, it was just in the round knitting. It was a great project for flock. So yeah, I love it. It's my Sabai top by Suzanne Muller, and with it, I'm wearing my Lane pants by Sydney Graham, and they are sewn up. They are a let me think. They're a linen viscose blend from Stone Mountain, and I got my first little drawstring that I did. Look at that. Isn't that fun? She has these lovely pockets, and they're super flowy, perfect for summer. I'm going to get so much wear out of them, I can tell already. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing. Now let's get into the whips. So a couple of the whips I put on hold. I put my Riliano on hold. I just can't take the mohair. Somebody suggested putting it in a metal bowl. I don't even know if that's going to be enough. My hands get hot, and then everything sticks to it when I'm knitting, and so I think that has to go on hold just for a while until it cools down a little bit. And so same thing with my Verona. That's also pure mohair. I have one sleeve done, hibernating till fall. I can't do it. Can't do it, guys. And then just because I've got so many other things going on, the striped half and half triangles wrapped by Pearl Soho is also on hold. Just so you know, I have not forgotten about those. They're coming back. I just want to show you guys. So you might know, you might have heard the story. I got a new camera, but with the camera came this mic, and I have to show you. You can personalize it. Let's see, with the logo that you want. Isn't that fun? Look at that. It's just so fun. So fun. Anyway, I just had to show you that. I'm going to clip her back on. The smallest things bring me pleasure. All right. I admit it. I don't like how it pulls here. It's just, I can't quite get it, so it's not making me look a little funky, but whatever, I guess, right? Let me dig into my bag here. I have my Project 109 bag, or excuse me, 105 bag by Redesigned, which is my main bag. Some of you are asking which one it is. It's the 105. I mistold some of you it was the 110, and you went looking for it and couldn't find it. It's because it's the 105. Okay, so with no further ado, let's get into the Cygnus Shawl by Amy Christoffers. So this is knit with my Handspun that I spun up from Nest Fiber Club. I spun up one fiber braid of Merino in Tulip and one fiber braid of Polworth in Smitten. And I got this lovely color. This is what I have left. This lovely color. There we go. And it's so pretty. And I found a colorway. I was going to do it with black. I thought that'd be really pretty. But when I started knitting it up, I felt like the contrast was almost too much. So when I was knitting up the black with this Handspun, I felt like the contrast was too high. And so I ripped it out. And I found this Moonspun by Moondrake Company in the sport weight. It's 100% wool in the colorway wine. And yeah. And so that's just a little less contrasty. It's still plenty of contrast, but it's just not quite as sharp or drastic. Now this is a triangular shawl. So you start at the corner and knit, and it gets wider and wider, and then you start decreasing and it gets narrower and narrower. I'm knitting it up on a US 6, and I have made some serious progress on this, even though I was gone. This is the project I tried to do when I was in the hotel, and I've been working on it diligently since I got back. And so here's what I have. So look, I'm past the point where you were increasing. Now I'm decreasing, and I can already tell it's going faster. So here we go. I'll show it to you as best I can. So that's a little over half of it done. Isn't that fun? Oh my gosh. So I think the colors are just striking in it. And I cannot wait. And I've been measuring. And when I got to the halfway point, I still had over half of the weight left. And so I'm hopeful. But as you know, it's hand spun. And so it's not completely consistent. So I don't know if my spin got a little thicker at one point. I don't know. So we're still hopeful that we're going to make it. We're still hopeful. Anyway, the technique used on this is not traditional stranded color work. It's mosaic. So that's the back. So mosaic is where you're slipping stitches. So you slip a stitch, you knit a stitch, slip, knit, and the pattern of that gives you this pattern. It's probably the easiest introduction to color work. Isn't that pretty? Oh my God. I cannot wait to wrap myself in this, you guys. And I just feel like we're getting so close. Like, it still looks like a lot, but I can feel it getting quicker. Heading to North Dakota this weekend, so I think this could be a good airplane project and I can make some serious headway. But I'm working on it a little bit each day, and yeah, I love it. Now, what else do I want to say about this? It's supposed to block out at 72 inches. I think I'm going to be like spot on the money. It is working out like just perfectly. It is, one thing I will say about it, it's rolling a little bit. So I'm hoping that you can see. So see how it rolls? So I'm going to have to pin it down when I block it, and I think that'll straighten it out. And it feels like it's going to have good drape once it's blocked. But yeah. So how much do you love that? I'll show it close up. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. Yeah, so that is the Cygnus shawl by AMA Christoffers of Savory Knitting. And like I was saying, if you have not tried color work and you want a good introduction, I think a good place to start would be with a Mosaic project, because it's pretty user friendly and just kind of gets you used to following a chart. This is all charted, 100% charted. I don't think there's any words in the pattern at all. Yeah, so we're getting there, guys. We are getting there. Next up, I have the Mermaid Avenue sock by Summer Lee. Now these are giving me quite the run for my money. I am knitting these up in the size medium on a US 1. And I'm using the Farmer Daughter Fiber Sock Squad in the colorway Tides, which is their July 2026 colorway. It's their Highwood sock blend, which is 80% merino, 20% nylon. And here's what it looks like. Isn't that pretty? I thought it looked like water or kind of like the beach, and so I thought it'd be perfect for a mermaid sock. Now, for the medium size, she calls for a cast-on of 64. And then when you get to the pattern, you increase to 72. So I'm hoping these fit. It's making me nervous because when I turned the heel, I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot of heel. So I hope they fit. You guys have to excuse my voice. We are surrounded by fires. I think Oregon is having some really bad fires right now. Spokane, which is 30 miles away, is burning to the ground. And the smoke here is, oh my God, the air quality is terrible. So I'm really sorry about my voice. I'm doing the best I can. So let me just show you. So I did a 1x1 cast on. And then you start into these mermaid scales. Aren't they fun? I'm going to try to get my head out of the way. There we go. And those consist of a dip stitch. And you can see they're offset. And so the next dip is in the middle of the previous dip, sort of. And it's a 12-row repeat. So I have been using this row counter from Twice Sheared Sheep. I have a link in the description below. They made me an affiliate link. And so if you need a row counter, I would get a small commission from that if you chose to purchase it from them. But this has been a lifesaver for keeping track of where I am. And you're asking, why isn't it on there now if it's such a lifesaver? Well, because I just turned the heel today. So we just finished turning the heel. So this is fresh off the heel turn. I wanted to show you the Fish Lip Kiss heel. There we go. That I did. That's not the heel. She had a heel flap and gusset, but I did this Fish Lip Kiss heel. And I tell you what, it's still my favorite heel. Still my favorite heel. So, but it's turning out really nice. I went for the longer or the taller sock. I think it's going to have a lot of stretch because of the extra stitches at the cast on. And so I thought this would be a good one to do longer. But yeah, I think it's really turning out cute. Hope you could see the design on that. And I love the colors. I think it does look like a mermaid. Now, as you remember, this was not going to be a great sock for hanging out at the expo or chatting with friends because I had to keep track. It's a 12-row repeat. And even with this, I'm still having to read the pattern, refer to my knitting companion frequently. And so I'm like, I need a different sock. So let's get into it. I don't want to lose this. Let me put this on here right there so that it stays with the project. Okay. So I cast on the DRK Everyday Sock by Andrea Mowry. And I also did these in a size medium. Now these are toe up heel, so you have to do a Judy's Magic Cast On for these. And then you do the toe box, and then you're doing 2x2 ribbing. And it's pretty intuitive to this point, and so that was fine. The issue was I didn't want to carry around and do magic loop at the expo or around a bunch of people. I felt like I was going to either take somebody's eye out or stitches were going to fly all over the place when I was moving it around. So I've been knitting on this in my spare time. I was not able to get it on a 9-inch circular. It just doesn't work well on a 9-inch circular. I'm not sure why. So I am keeping it on the magic loop for the entirety of the sock, which is fine. So I just have another sock on the needles that I did not need. So I'm using the colorway. It's called Lakeside Tea. It's the September 2025 Farmer Daughter Fibers Sock Squad color. And it's in, again, Highwood sock, which is 80% merino, 20% nylon. Here it is. Can you see the little speckles in that? It's really a pretty colorway. And it's going to be just such a nice natural sock. Now we are really close to the point where I'm going to be doing the heel. And so I've not been working on this because I'm going to need to sit down and focus when it comes time to do the heel. But I think it's going to be one of those socks. It's going to be super versatile. It's going to go with everything. I'm going to make the leg relatively long so I can wear it with boots and things like that. But yeah, that Flegel heel is next. So wish me luck. I just need to focus when I do it. That's all. It just takes some focus. But that is the DRK Everyday Sock by Andrea Mowry. All right. And now, since none of those socks were going to work for the expo, I had to cast on a third pair of socks. I know, I've got 3 socks on the needles right now. So I pulled out some Bear Paw sock that I had, which is 70% merino, 20% yak, and 10% nylon in the color Ranch Romance. And I decided to just do the I'm So Basic sock by Summer Lee, because you can't go wrong with that. It's basically just barely a recipe that I follow. So basically, I just cast on 64 stitches. I actually changed, she had a 1x1 rib. I changed it to a 2x2 rib. And then I knit down as far as I wanted. I want these to be a long sock. And so I made it pretty long. I did the fish lip kiss heel. And now every 10 rows, I put in a little stitch marker so that I'd be able to replicate it. I'm on the foot part right now. A few more inches and I'll be putting on a toe and starting the second one. So I made a lot of, this is all flock progress. Sorry, I'm really having trouble. This is all flock progress. I knit at flock, I knit Uber rides, I knit while visiting with you guys, I knit at dinners all the time. Like this was what I was carrying around with me. So there are a lot of memories woven into the fabric of this sock. And so I am really excited about it. I think it'll be a fun little sock just to remember the weekend by. And the color is to die for. That's the Ranch Romance by Farmer Daughter Fibers. Like I said, it's their Bear Paw sock. So it's that merino yak nylon blend. It's just, it is lovely to knit with. But yeah, I'm So Basic by Summer Lee. All right, so that's all the ones you've seen. Now, flock got me uber excited and so inspired. When I got home, I got the itch to cast on everything under the sun, you guys. Oh my God. So I think my plans to finish up all of my whips by December is quickly fleeting. So do you want to see what I've cast on in the last couple days? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. All right. We will start out with the Honeypetal Cardigan by Andrea Mowry. So I'm knitting up a size 3. And that corresponds to a finished chest circumference of about 38.5. And I'm knitting it up on a US 5. Now, when I went to Flock, I went to the Wandering Flock booth, and I got so inspired touching the CottonLino. I was just like, I need to knit on that. I need to see what it feels like. It was just very intriguing to me. It's the CottonLino is 35% cotton, 20% linen, 30% silk, 15% alpaca. I mean, it doesn't sound fun to knit with at all, and everybody always raves about it. So I'm like, what is the big deal with this yarn? Well, I can tell you now. I can tell you all the big deal. So there's no splitting. It's soft. It's drapey. The stitch definition is phenomenal. Oh, yeah. So let's start out with the colors I'm using. So for the main color, I'm using Pyrite. And then I have for one of the accent colors, Petal. And the second accent color is Poppy. So I basically just copy and pasted Andrea's colors. Because you just can't mess with the best, right? So so these are the 3 colors. And I cast it on. Like I said, I used a US 5, size 3. And the design on it, you cast on and you start right into the raglan, and it's all charted. All the whole construction is for the raglan is charted because it's a compound raglan construction. So sometimes you're increasing at the neckline and the raglans. Sometimes you're just doing the sleeves. Sometimes you're just doing the front. It's just, yeah, there's coding and charting, and so you have to be paying attention. But it's not hard. It's just, oh, I gotta fix that light. Hang on. I hope that's better. The sun was glaring in, and so I had to adjust the shades a little bit. Hopefully that's better. So anyway, the raglan construction is not hard. It's just, or compound construction rather, is not hard. You just have to be paying attention. So this is not a project for hanging out with friends. But it certainly is lovely. So we got a fair bit. I'm over halfway through with the yoke already. So look at that stitch definition. It is so good. And I wish you could feel this fabric. It is so light. And you can tell it's going to be so drapey. It's going to be just a wonderful piece for fall. Those transitional times. Or in summer when you're going into an air-conditioned building. And the color's not picking up really great on the camera here, I don't think. Hopefully I can correct it in post-production. But it is so beautiful. And it's going to go with like everything that I own. I mean, it even looks good with this. It's going to get a ton of wear. And the raglan lines with the striping is turning out so amazing. Isn't that fun? I love that. I love stripes on raglans. It just adds so much of a design element, so much of a design feature, however you want to say that. Love it. Now at the end, so you get through, I have a few more repeats. Like I said, we're about a little over halfway done with the yoke, and then you separate for sleeves. And then when you're all done knitting, I have to pick up for the neckband. That shouldn't, or for the button band. That shouldn't be too hard. I still need, though, to find buttons to go with it. And I'm wondering, do you think it would be cute to do this kind of poppy color right here? The poppy. Would that be a cute color for the buttons? Or would you go more with the petal? Let's see if I can. I was holding this up. Okay, poppy petal or pyrite for the buttons. What do you think? Which one do you think would go well with the cardigan? I'm just not quite sure. Part of me thinks the poppy. Tell me if I'm crazy. Tell me if I'm crazy. Am I crazy? Maybe I'll look at what Andrea has. The other option is I have some really cute leftover buttons from my Hey Sailor by Andrea Mowry that are wood buttons that have little flowers embossed on it. That would be cute too. Anyway, that is the Honeypetal by Andrea Mowry. So good. So good. All right, next up. Now, this was not on my radar. This was not on my radar for this year. Guys, I was so influenced going to flock. It was, yeah, all the influence. So I cast on the Antipodes by Andrea Mowry. I'm knitting her in a size 4, which corresponds to a 41.75 inch finished circumference, which would give me about 5.5 inches of 6 inches of positive ease, which is a little more than I usually do, but I think my gauge is slightly tighter than called for, so I think it's going to work out. I'm knitting it up on a US 4, and I'm using Spincycle in the colorway Reckless Abandon with Spinster's Daughter, which is in York, together, right? It's really beautiful. I saw a sample of it at Flock, and I was just enamored with it. Now, this is a drop shoulder construction, and Andrea hasn't done a lot of drop shoulder, and so it's kind of fun to see how she's doing it. I'm not very far. I'm just getting started, actually. I started it last night. So you start with the provisional cast on, and she has a great tutorial for this, by the way, if you're interested in provisional cast on. And you leave that on barber cord, and then you're increasing as you're knitting the stripes, and I just went ahead and put stitch markers in so that I can replicate it on the other side. But this is basically the right side of the back. And so I'm not exactly sure how it's all going to come together, but this is kind of, yeah. Anyway, I'm trusting the process. I did talk to her at the flock, and she said the key to this sweater is to trust the process. Same with the flock sweater. She said just trust the process. Do as it says. Don't try to overanalyze. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just trust the process. But look at that nice color shift already. Isn't that going to be fun? Yeah, I was totally influenced. This was not on the radar. So I am going to the Farmer Daughter Fibers retreat in September. And I think it would be fun to have this done because Rachel from Spincycle is going to be there. And so I would love to be able to wear this and show her on the day that we spend with her. But isn't that fun? Yeah, really good. Really good colors. And it was kind of a bonus because I already had the Spincycle. As you know, I've got a great collection of Spincycle. And so all I had to do is buy the York while I was there. And then we're set. So that's the Antipodes by Andrea Mowry. Okay, where are we? We're getting through this. This went faster than I thought. Okay, so next up is the Painting Honeycomb Shawl by Stephen West. Now, this is kind of a special one. Now, if you remember, I'll put up a picture if I can find one of Gucci. But I, for Christmas, made her the painted honeycomb dog sweater. And she wears it every day. So what happened, and even in the heat of summer, I know. But what happened is when she has that brain tumor, and she was on some steroids for a long time to keep the swelling down. And so because of that, she got this abnormality of her skin that caused her to lose her hair. And so she has some balding patches. And so when she goes to work, I just don't want to have to explain it every time. And so I just put a sweater on her. And she looks adorable. And it's a win-win. Anyway, this is a shawl version of in that same texture. And you can do large honeycombs or small honeycombs. It's knit up on, and I chose the small. And it's knit up on a US 5. And I found this beautiful set of colorways through Oakwood Knits at the Flock Fiber Festival in their Bounce Sock, which is an 80-20 merino nylon blend. And I'm knitting up, the main color is going to be it's going to be in Parsnip, which is just their very creamy white base. And then I have Golden Honey. And then we have Blackberry Season. I'm not even going to be able to do this. I can tell you that for sure. Okay. Parsnip. Golden Honey. Blackberry Season. Sweet Pea. Flower dance, and pumpkin. So let me try to show you those all at once. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. So those are my colorways. What do you think of that? I'm so in love with these colorways. To me, it looks like a really beautiful fall sunset. I don't know. What do you guys think? So enamored. So enamored. So I got started on it. And again, I want this done for the retreat. But there's also a festival. We have a fiber festival in Spokane in September, toward the end of September. And I think this would be a beautiful shawl to wear perhaps with my new Sabai top. Because look at this. Look how pretty she is. Look how pretty she is. So this gets blocked out and it turns into like this honeycomb design. Isn't that beautiful? Do you love that? Now, a couple of these knits. So the Antipodes and this shawl, the painted honeycombs, are both buddy knits that I'm doing with Jordan. And yeah, and I want to invite you all to participate. We do have a more formal knit along going on in the Discord group that we just started. So if you're interested in doing a knit along for the Antipodes, please join the Discord group. I'll put a link in the description box below and get in on that because it's very informal, but it's super fun. And if you want to knit the honeycombs, the painted honeycombs with us too, that would be fun as well. It's a really fun pattern. It's really pretty intuitive once you get going. I pretty much have it memorized. I think a couple more repeats and it'll be like this. I just have to reference a few times just to make sure I'm still on track. But it's pretty intuitive and I just think it's going to be gorgeous. And so I've done 1, 2, 3 repeats and it calls for 25. So what I'm going to do, I'm planning on doing the 25 repeats and then ending with so I started with purple. I want to end with purple if I can, because I don't think I want to end on gold. I think I want to end on that blackberry season. So what do you think? Yeah. That is just so fun. And I mean, look at it. It's all my colors. It's so good. It's just going to be so good. So that is what I've done to myself. Those are the cast-ons that I've spontaneously done over the past couple of days. I can't believe I did this to myself. But in my defense, it was just too hot to do the mohair, guys. It's just too hot here. And with the smoke, I just wasn't in the mood to deal with it. So here we are with a ton of cast-ons. So if you want to join along in the fun, in the cast-on fun, the cast-on flurry. All right, just a couple words to wrap things up. The spinning. I've been spinning a lot. Now, I haven't shown you spinning for a while. That's because the Tour de Fleece, I extended it into the Tour de Feminine, I think it's called, that ended August 9th. And so I plan on having an update for you next week where I'm going to be talking about not only what I spun, but also a little bit about Spincycle, what it is, where it came from, how you might use Spincycle or your Handspun in your knitting projects. So be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and then hit that notification bell so that you don't miss that episode. And if you're really loving this content, give me a hype. Maybe buy me a Ko-Fi. But really, guys, I just appreciate you being here. If you want to continue the conversation after hours, join the Discord group. I'll leave a link in the description box below. And don't forget about that opportunity for a knit along with the Antipodes. I think it'll be fun. It's really fun. And that's going to be in the Discord group. So please join us down over there for ongoing conversation. And don't forget to leave me a comment with all your burning questions for the Ask Me Anything 1-year anniversary episode that's going to drop September 11th of this year. But until next time, guys, happy knitting!